Hello all, welcome back to the Tech on Toast podcast. My name's Chris Fletcher and it's season 11. This season we have ZenZap as our sponsor for the Tech on Toast podcast. And if you're in hospitality, you know how chaotic managing a team can get. Don't worry, ZenZap is here to change that. Now, I've been using ZenZap for my own team at Tech on Toast, and honestly, I don't know how we've managed without it. It's a game changer for keeping everything organized. Instead of juggling endless email threads, WhatsApp groups, and random sticky notes around my office, we've got everything in one place. Conversations sorted by topic, tasks assigned and tracked without fuss, and files right at your fingertips when you need them. And for you guys in the restaurants, it's a no-brainer. The kitchen team can report supply issues in a dedicated chat. Managers can roll out new specials to the front of house instantly, and task assignments like prepping for a big event, all handled effortlessly. And my absolute favourite part, ZenZap keeps your work life separate from your personal life. No more work messages clogging up my WhatsApp, and no more 10 p.m. pings from my team ruining my downtime. It's intuitive, secure, and works on any device, so you're always connected but always in control. If you're ready to simplify your team's comms and get your evenings back, try ZenZap for free. No card needed, zenzap.co. Go check it out. Big thanks to ZenZap. Big thanks to all of you for coming to listen. Should we get on with it? I think so. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Tech on Toast podcast. I'm today delighted to be joined by Dani El Zein, founder of Supy. How are you, Danny?
Excellent.
Welcome to Brewdog. Have you been before?
Never. My first time here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, it's a hell of a venue, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love it.
Where have you travelled in from today? Are you in London for a while? Or
I'm in London for the week.
Okay.
I came in from Dubai earlier on Sunday.
Oh, wow. How is Dubai? Is it missing me?
Yeah, I mean, it's winter over there. Nice 18, 19 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, sounds horrific, yeah. And how are you finding it? I mean, before I even get to the product and you, how do you find London? And what have you travelled here a lot over your career, or?
Yeah, I grew up here, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
I was born in London. I grew up here I was born 35 years ago and spent 9 years here. My first job was in London.
Right, okay.
No, it's not new. Love the city. My first job was here, but yeah, I've been in Dubai for 15 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's super interesting. Well, things must have changed a lot since you were last living here, I bet. And tell us a little bit about you. So what's your background? How did you end up creating Supy?
A bit cliche, but I did have a restaurant.
Did you really?
I did. I had
Always helps to feel the pain first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So not to sound cliche, but we did have a restaurant. Spent 7 years running that restaurant, and obviously a lot of issues out of the restaurant drove me to build a product for my team. That product then kind of became popular, and we started selling it. And then we decided to build a company out of it, and we started from scratch, rebuilt it, and yeah, that's kind of how Supy started.
And do you still have the restaurant?
No, we shut down.
Yeah. So I think if you could run if you could ask someone, restaurants seem a passion project, you know?
Exactly.
Whereas tech feels like there might be more of a return on it, I suppose, than running a restaurant sometimes. 'Cause it's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I had no idea why I even opened it. When I was young, it was just like, you need to open a restaurant. It was like a checkbox in my life. And we did it. We learned a lot, we failed, and Supy came out of it.
Yeah, well, I think, I'm a big believer in fate, so I think everything happens for a reason, right, sometimes. So, these things come up and test you, but something good comes out the back of it, right?
Exactly.
So tell us about the product, because I think for most people listening in, we've had various different, I'm not going to say procurement, because I'm not going to put you in that box, but procurement, inventory, but AI is changing the game, I think, a little bit around this product. But tell us about Supy. What can it do for people?
Yeah, so in summary, Supy is a back office system that focuses on what you said, procurement, inventory management, reporting, and business analytics. And why am I mentioning these 3 points? Is because the reason you implement some people don't really know why they need to implement inventory, but I like to say there's 3 big value adds in having inventory. One is financial reporting. Yeah. You need to report your COGS into your P&L. So you need a system that's going to get you some sort of reporting that you can rely on, that you can report into your P&L. You're going to get audited at the end of the year. So that's one big value of having inventory rather than doing it on Excel. And we do that for clients. And some clients will just use Supy for that, or any other of our competitors' softwares. Second value is saving your staff time. Again, a bit cliche, but I want to save my staff time. It's cumbersome to run a lot of back office processes. Purchasing takes time, counting your stock takes time, recording wastage takes time. All of this takes time. And usually it's only one person who knows how to do it, whether you're doing it on Excel or on a software. We like to give staff mobile applications where we limit the access of every single user on Supy to only having the ability to do what they need to do. So if my task is to run a stock count, I'll open the mobile app and I'll only see stock counting. So save time for your staff. So streamline operation.
Yeah.
The most cliche term in any software.
Well, do you know what? Otherwise, why are we doing it?
Yeah,
so no, it's the right thing to do.
Exactly. So that's your second value add.
Yeah.
Your third value add of using Supy is business insights. So we have built our own proprietary BI tool, which is, I like to say, quite sophisticated, and it's no BS. It shows you what you need to see. It creates insights for business owners or for ops managers, ops directors, CFOs. It gives them insights into their business. Where can I reduce costs? Where can I increase my profit? What's selling best? Let's say you launched a Christmas menu across your 30 stores in London. Where is this Christmas menu performing best? Is it performing best in the West, in the East, in the North? So you can start understanding and taking action based on these insights that you're getting to improve your business.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. And you go back to stock taking. I was that guy, right? So I was at the Hard Rock for 9 years, and we ran our own sites as mini head offices. Does that make sense? So we didn't have a huge European central support in Europe. We just kind of, the GMs would run. You have your own HR, your own finance people on site. So we used to do all our own stock taking ourselves. And oh my god, I hated stock take. And I think it's the human error part, right? I mean, there's a lot of like your cliche phrase you say about operational efficiencies, and I agree. A lot of tech will say you'll get that back, but actually, I think in the field you're in, I do think there's a lot of human error or potential for a lot of human error. And I think the result of that human error can lead to some really tricky financial targets or people, I mean, God forbid, hiding some bad results, potentially stuff like that. So I do think that's one of the biggest. Is that what you find when you're talking to people, that actually some of the real big win or quick wins are particularly in the stock taking area?
Yes, it is. I mean, human errors, you want to avoid human errors, because if you're using a system and the data you're putting in is not accurate, then your system has no use. The data coming out of it is garbage. So how can you help people avoid human errors? You want to limit the system. You want to create workflows. You want to create approvals. You want to create policies. So there's a lot of small features that we add in, because human errors are always going to happen. You can't prevent it. I mean, you have people working stock counts in the back office. They don't come with 30 years of experience.
No.
I mean, my first job was counting stock in Costa Coffee also. So there's a lot that you need to do to help people avoid mistakes, and that's what we try and do through a user-friendly software.
And that's what I've heard. My friend, actually outside our doors here, we have a friend called Tommy Giroux sitting with us. He was just apparently here today. But we were just talking about inventory before you came and stock. And we were both agreeing, actually, that you've got to try and simplify it in some way. I mean, giving someone a count sheet with, 400 lines on it, something like that. Even though you might have all those products, but it's about how you simplify that and make that job easier for that person, that user. And I think that's what you guys are doing. And on the reporting side, you mentioned there about saving money or giving them insight into what it might look like. What kind of reports are they looking at? Is it looking at stock holding? Is it looking at performance on menus or ingredients?
So we have a lot of different reports. One of my favorite reports is variance report. So I'm able to understand, where is my chef over portioning? Where is my chef under portioning? Where do I have uncontrolled wastage or unaccounted for wastage? Because if you think of, when you plan a menu with a specific cost. So I want to sell these burgers and I want to make sure my cost is 25%. But there's always this 1%, 2%, 3% that's unaccounted for. And my objective is operational excellency. I want to make sure that whatever I planned my cost to be, my actual cost is going to be as close to my planned cost. Yeah. And we have a very nice report that really shows you on an ingredient level, on a menu item level, how far away are you from your theoretical cost. And the idea is, let's improve every month. So if I'm 3% away, so my cost margin is 28%, I want it to be 25%. Let's create objectives. How can we reach 27? How can we reach 26? How can we reach 25? So this report, or this dashboard, actually, it's very visual, allows you to really understand, where are we going wrong and what can we do to go back to our planned cost of, for example, 25%.
And I think that's the key. You mentioned the word visual there. Yeah. I'm a very visual learner, always have been. I actually think the majority of people who work in the industry are the same. They're probably not academics, because otherwise they'd be doing law or medicine or something like that. So I think you find a lot of people in the industry need to they read information very quickly. I find they need information quickly, but they also read it quickly. And if you can supply them the right tools, then they'll get there quicker, right? And they'll find better results. Are you seeing some? Do you get quite quick wins when you're putting your product in? Are you getting feedback quite quickly from your customers?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we only launched in London 4 or 5 months, 6 months.
It's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, we're quite new.
I remember meeting you at an event and you were just arriving.
Yeah, so we were just arriving in September. We came here a bit organically, having clients from other parts of the world who opened shop in London.
Right.
But yeah, we do see quick wins. The product we built in the regions where we started, which was Dubai and Riyadh in Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, we were competing a lot with ERP systems there. We were competing with the likes of Oracle, Microsoft.
Yeah.
So we had to build a system that's very feature rich. And these features that we built, back home, we'd never really appreciated all the feedback we got from this market for such large enterprises that we worked with back home. So when we launched in this market, we realized that clients are really appreciating these small features that we've added. And going back to your point about stock count, one small feature we added, for instance, is a counting template. So I want to count in a specific order.
Yeah, so simple, yeah.
So simple, but that's a very ERP-like feature. But we added it in our software, and that helped on the stock count. And it's a bit of a wow effect when people say, hey, I can order my items on this sheet that's on my mobile app. It's not really a sheet, it's on a mobile app, in my specific order. It helps.
I know it sounds crazy. I know but some people might listen to it and go, well, that's just so simple. Why wouldn't you just do that? But it's not like that in operations. It's just you print off from the computer or where you go, wherever you find your stock sheets, and there might be an alphabetical order. It's whatever that software has decided they're going to be in. So
Exactly.
being able to build it bespoke for you, because I think I'm always constantly looking for consistency, or I was in operations. So I was always trying to find how can I get all my teams doing the same thing at the same time every day. Impossible is the answer. But I think that with tech, you're enabling people to get there a little bit quicker. And find that consistency quicker. And talk to me about ordering, because ordering was something that used to blow my mind. Again, a chef with a clipboard on the back wall. I mean, this is still happening everywhere. I think you've got a lot of customers to go and see. But I think a clipboard with a load of orders on that might be done, might not be done, covered in food, whatever it might be. How are you tackling the ordering problem? Because I still think it's because that leads to inconsistencies, too much product, too little product. What does Supy do to help with that?
So we started off as an ordering platform.
Yeah.
So my first product 4 years ago was a simple ordering app. I like to call it, Supy's Mickey Mouse version.
Mini Supy. I'm trying to think tiny Supy, something like
Exactly.
Supy's son.
Exactly. So that's how we started. So I like to say that our ordering is quite user-friendly, quite advanced. And what we do is we provide a mobile app, and we do two kinds of ordering. One is requisitions, meaning for me as a chef, we can be both working in the same kitchen, and we can both grab our mobile app, add the ingredients that we need to order. Either I can fill to par, or I can just manually select what ingredients I need. And then on the back of this requisition, we can create approval workflows.
That's great.
I want orders to go to a purchasing manager. This purchasing manager might be managing 1 outlet, 2 outlets, 50 outlets. And on the back of it, he can review all the orders from all the outlets, and in one click, translate all these orders, requisitions I call them, into purchase orders that go out to the suppliers. So we've kind of, again, created a streamlined process on ordering. There's so many different flows that you can work when it comes to ordering. I'm not going to go through them now, but
no, we might bore everyone.
Exactly.
But it's future proofing, isn't it? And as I said, the kind of people that work in the industry appreciate that work being done for them, so they don't have to worry about it. Like par levels, I remember Excel. We used to use par levels for all our Excel sheets for all our par levels back in the day, and it was just one slight slip, and you'd have 25 punnets of strawberries rather than 2.5, So it just shows how easy it is to create problems. And the key behind, I think, a lot of great restaurant brands now, or great hospitality brands, is data.
Yeah.
The data driving, like helping them make decisions through data. I'm guessing what Supy's output, like you were talking about, I think you were talking about garbage in, garbage out. In terms of really poor data. But that data being like rich data that can really help them, I'm guessing is helping them make really great decisions.
Yes, 100%. I mean, you need to have this accurate data. You need to be putting accurate data in the system to have accurate data out of the system. And one thing...
Again, it sounds obvious, but it doesn't happen, right? All the time.
No, it does. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, inventory is very complex. And like you said, instead of having a packet of strawberry, you're going to have a carton of strawberry. And that's a human error. And you mentioned human errors earlier. And they're always going to happen. And our job as a software is how can we preempt these human errors. We know they're going to happen. So when they happen, how can we correct them?
Yeah, like pack sizes. You've just mentioned it there. Pack sizes is something that's, if you're, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you're a burger brand, you might have different buns or different types of burger that goes in the buns, or different types of cheese that sits on top. And that package size used to be an absolute, because once it's ordered in, you've got it, right? And then it sits on your inventory and then it ends up going to waste. So that pack size thing, when you're onboarding a client, what does that look like? Because I imagine that's the trickiest part. Everyone can see.
Remind me about onboarding.
But I think for some of your competitors in the past, and certainly for me when I've worked with some of the larger competitors in the past, that's been some of the issue, right? That actually you've got to want to do inventory.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, doesn't it? But if you're buying it, you've really got to want to have a passion to get this done and get it onboarded properly. Do you find that not a battle, but do you find that the most challenging part of when you're kind of rolling out? How do you get over that part?
Look, for restaurants, it is the most challenging part.
Yeah.
For us, I like to say it's the part we thrive in the best. And if you look at our ratings on G2, we've won so many badges on implementation, on best support, on best implementation, best onboarding, best training. So why did we win these awards? Because we're a newcomer in this market. We're 4 years old when we're competing against players that are 15, 20, 25 years old. We've entered in a category of software that has existed for decades. So one thing we really put a big bet on is everything implementation, training, and onboarding. And the team behind it that does it, they're mostly cost controllers. So people who have worked in the industry, people who have managed operations, and we pay so much attention when it comes to inputting this first data sheet of ingredients, suppliers, packaging, pricing, price per kilo, per packet, per carton.
Give me PTSD, but yeah. No, but it's true. That bit alone, I think, is so. I think there's a huge fear of change just buying tech generally.
Correct.
In the industry, and that's based on what's gone before us. And as you say, there's legacy technology up for 20 years. Nothing wrong with it, but it's been around for 20 years. So from that legacy alone, that in the earlier days, that kind of implementation style or the kind of automations we have now, we just didn't have then. So people have been burnt a little bit over the years of having poor implementation. And I think that's that change piece. If you can really do the heavy lifting for the operators there, that makes such a huge difference to them. And I'm guessing, how long does it take then? I know it's how long is a piece of string, but if I've got 10 sites kind of thing, is it going to take me months, weeks to onboard?
It can take you anywhere between 2 weeks to 12 weeks. Right. It all depends on how readily available is the client, how available is the data the client has, and how responsive is the client.
Yeah.
If you send me a data sheet as a client and I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to spend a week to answer my question, and the implementation is going to take 6 months.
Yeah, that's a good point. So from a tech point of view, you really like to deal with a kind of one source of truth. Is that
Yes.
one person who's kind of almost like a Tommy out there
exactly.
who has his, not everyone has the luxury of having a Tommy who does that job alone, but having a ops manager or someone like that who can just deal with you directly, because I'm guessing that just smooths the whole process.
Exactly. You need one champion during implementation. You're the champion. You're responsible for all of this. We just speak with you and please share the information we need so we can get you up and running as fast as we can.
Yeah, because the benefits for you, right? For the operators.
Exactly.
The quicker you're on, the quicker we can save you some money.
Quicker the benefits.
Yeah, and on that, I always feel like back of house or the kitchen operation has always been kind of not as loved as when tech all came flooding into the market during the pandemic, mainly for front of house, right? Legally, so they could operate with QR codes and whatnot. I do feel like the back of house operations hasn't been loved for as much as the front of house have, because it's where the customers are, I suppose.
Yeah.
How much benefit are those guys seeing, like the actual chefs that are kind of, I suppose, once you're in and running and you're starting to get the processes in place and everyone's kind of playing to Supy's strengths, how much benefit are these actual chefs getting on their day-to-day business?
So we've seen a lot of value and we have a lot of good case studies and use cases from different chefs for different reasons. But I'll give you an example. We have a client that had mushroom in his pizza. It's a pizza restaurant that has 12 outlets. And they were over portioning on mushroom for a period of about 6 months.
I love this detail, but carry on. Yeah, it's
great.
Great.
Imagine over portioning by 5% on your mushrooms, and pizza has a few ingredients when it comes to fruits and veg. And all of a sudden you've noticed, thanks to Supy, thanks to this variance dashboard that I talked to you about, that I have a wastage, I have an uncontrolled cost of mushroom or variance on mushroom. And this chef ended up saving $50,000 a year just by noticing and understanding that there was a slight mistake in portioning.
And that's not a visual thing, right? Is it? Because you could be a trained chef, look at that pizza every day and probably think, That looks right. It looks great. You wouldn't spot the extra one slice of mushroom or something whatever it was, kind of taken over the pizza. It's not something you would pick up like that, is it?
No, it's not. And like, I'll give you a better example that you can visualize a bit better.
I'm still stuck with the pizza. I'm hungry.
So let's have some coffee now.
Okay.
So we have this coffee chain, 170 outlets in Saudi Arabia. And if you know, one shot of espresso is 9 grams of coffee. Wow. And you get that coffee grinded through grinders. These grinders get calibrated. Now, a 10% variance on 9 grams, that's just 1 gram. So imagine your coffee grinder is not calibrated well. You have 1 gram discrepancy, and you're setting tens of thousands of cups a day across 170 outlets, tens of thousands of cups.
I'm glad you're doing the math
that's
on
like
this.
1,000 kilos.
That's crazy.
So that's I don't know, 200 pounds a day per outlet that
Wow.
you can. So these small things can save you a huge amount of cost.
And especially now, right, when we face down in the UK, especially when you face down the barrel of all the cost increases that are coming over the next few months, I think it's never not mattered to save money. It's never not been important. But I think now more than ever, if my job really is to find operators' efficiencies, as you say, to find them ways of saving money, and actually, making their operation better, then this is it, right? Just trying to find those little wins and it's not a little win. It's 200. Did you say £200 a day?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is
for a recalibration. Yeah. and you can take that to cocktails, you can take that to pizzas, you can take it to anything you do. And a lot of, most of these guys have recipe manuals, they have everything all branded, and now they've got it on iPads in the kitchens, and they've got all this stuff. But still, there's humans who are operating these things, and humans who forget to calibrate or haven't booked the guy in to come and do it next month, whatever. And that's where the errors occur. What are you learning most, I suppose? I find it really interesting because you obviously build the product with something in mind.
Yeah.
Has the UK changed your outlook a little bit, or is it still very much the product you had back home?
No, definitely we had to adapt to this market. I mean, UK is an extremely competitive market. You have the best softwares in the world competing in the UK. So we have learned that clients in this market are much more educated when it comes to inventory. We've learned that unlike other parts of the world, when you open a restaurant, it's like your ABCs, I need a POS. I need an accounting software. I need an inventory software. In other parts of the world that we operate in, we need to educate the market. Why do you need an inventory software? So what we're doing here mostly is competing. So, hey, can your software do this? Can it do that? What's your price? And we have way more meetings. Clients are ready to buy, and they're ready to pay because they know the value. So we do less market education in London and more just...
And that's super important, right? Because I presume that could be like 360 for you in other regions where you're saying, look, guys, we're in London. They've seen the benefit of this for 10 years.
Yeah.
They know, not Supy potentially, but, inventory management.
Correct.
They've seen the benefits. They know you're behind here, but this is what will happen for you. So I suppose that opens the door to those conversations as you enter different regions. And on the same breath, what do you think you're going to have to change, I suppose, or what do you think is going to come in over the future periods?
So let's be cliche again and talk about AI.
It's very rare I can get through a podcast now without mentioning AI, but let's do it.
Yeah, so AI has to help restaurants somehow, whether you're talking Gen AI, so Gen AI meaning the ChatGPTs of this world where, you can have a bot that's going to come and analyze your operation and tell you why you have variance because you forgot to receive this invoice and this recipe is over portioned. So can Gen AI today analyze and explain things to you? No. Is this coming? Yes.
Yeah.
We're going from, large language models do not analyze. So we're waiting for this. I'm waiting for the technology in AI to be a bit more present so we can benefit from it when it comes to Gen AI. But on the other hand, if I look at machine learning and AI for forecasting your sales, for automating your procurement, this is something that we've recently launched and we're piloting currently with a few brands. So AI on purchasing and procurement is live today with a lot of softwares, and it's something that we're...
And what does it do there? Is it helping predict what you should be ordering or what you were ordering prior and giving you some power levels? Is that kind of where we're going with that? A
bit more. So we take your sales from your POS, so we understand what you've sold over the last few weeks. We have your recipes in our system, so we know exactly what you consume for every dish that you sell. We have your stock on hand because we run your inventory. We know what you're expecting from suppliers to be delivered today, tomorrow, so we can forecast whatever requirement you need. So if we can give you an accurate forecast with weather, with football games, if there's a football game around the corner, that deliveries are going to go down or go up, or if it's a rainy day, roads are going to be blocked. And So we can forecast sales, we can forecast your procurement need, and we can help you automate forecasting. Automate procurement.
It's super interesting because labor is, let's say, 35% of your cost, right? And then inventory, I don't know, I haven't done it for a long time.
25.
25? So you think about it, between those two, it's nearly 60% of your business cost.
Crazy.
Right? And it's insane. Who would run a restaurant, right? So about 60% of your total cost is in food and labor.
Yeah.
And I always argue the point that if you break it down like that, and you run a restaurant business and you're listening to this, and you're not dealing with those two things head on every day, I mean, I'm sure they do. I used to in my career. I mean, it was all we talked about, right? Sales, food, labor, or other way around. But if you're not focused on those things, you're missing. You've only got 40% left to play with, right? And that's all going on other bits and bobs as well, right? So you got your rent and all the other things you sit against. So it's,
delivery fees.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to depress it now, but yeah. So, but it can be done right. And I think the most efficient you can be in those sectors, then I would recommend to do it. And I'm interested in you guys because I think it's there's a lot of new players coming, actually, not a lot, but 2 or 3 new players coming into inventory, which as I said, I think is needed because it hasn't been touched for a while. And I encourage people to check it out because I think there's some huge savings to be had quite quickly.
Yeah.
Not just in operational, but in literally what you talk. The calibration thing is going to stick with me. I think I'm going to tell that story. You know what it's like? You hear a story, you tell it a lot. I think I'll be telling that one a lot. What do you want from London, the UK market? Then what are you most excited about now you're here? You've been in meetings all day today. I've seen you backwards and forwards over the last few months. What are you most excited about?
Look, I mean, I'm most excited to see large brands test our product. I mean, I'm not going to say we've had massive brands work with Supy in London yet. We have big brands in Australia, big brands in the Middle East, but in London, we're yet to implement this big brand. What
would you call a big brand? So from 40 plus or 100?
30 plus, 30 plus. We like to work to 30 to 40 branches is like the sweet spot for Supy.
Because obviously the analytics that come out the back of that size group are much, I suppose you can see the savings much quicker, right?
Correct. Like we'd like to onboard one of these big brands. We're in conversations with a lot of big brands and hopefully we'll be signing a few this month. And that's why I'm here this week. But what I want from the London market is, I mean, when you buy inventory, you really need to trust in the product. You need to trust in the data. So we're new in this market. Few people know us. A few people are getting to know us. We're slowly, trying to meet as many people as we can. But if I were a restaurant, I'd be a bit skeptical on boarding a software that I've never heard about that's going to have all my data.
You mentioned London, right, is mature in hospitality technology. So I think, not just London, the UK actually. And I think that's why knowing people like Tom out there, us lot, I think it's useful because I do agree. I think there's an awareness piece now around tech that didn't used to be there. You didn't have to know who the labor guy was before, but now I think people are like, oh, you're not him or you're not them. Or, how are you? What are you then? Kind of thing. So exactly. I do think there's an understanding that needs to be built or a trust that needs to be built.
Exactly,
which is difficult, right?
100%. And you ask me what I want. I want to build that trust, and I'm trying to build that trust, and we're on the right track.
Yeah, I think so. And I hear lots of positive things. I think is it Curran in your team?
Curran, yeah,
he's great and such a happy-go-lucky chap, and really fitted into the scene. We see him everywhere. I don't know if that's his job, but what is his job? What does he do? What does Curran do?
Curran leads growth.
Well, he's doing it. Yeah. So I see him everywhere. So
exactly.
If that's his job, he's doing a good job.
He's got us on the radar.
No, he really has. And I think when he came, it's that attitude I really like because it's the same in restaurants, right? If you're really proud of your product, then you should tell customers, right? Bring them in off the street, show them what you do. It's like, when you go on holiday, these beachside bars and restaurants, they drag people in and they're proud of what they do. And I think it's the same in tech, right? If you really back yourself, you really back your product and you can really help, then tell everyone quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of product out there that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Or can't do it as well. So support is a key thing I wanted to mention at the end here. And I think a lot of people would want to understand that. Is the product, like I say, do you need a lot of support with the product, as in, or is it quite intuitive so you don't require a huge support? I know it's a trick question because you could go either way and I would go, of course he'd say that. But yeah, how do you kind of support these customers? That's really key to them.
So during the first 3-4 months, beyond implementation, implementation requires a lot of hand-holding, but during the 3-4 months that come after we're done and we're live, we like to hold hands with our clients a lot, meaning we will check their reports. Right. Our team will check their reports. Our team will make sure that we're tallying the sales with the POS. We're understanding why there's a variance. We're reviewing their recipe, their average cost.
So you might flag the calibration issue potentially.
We do.
Yeah.
So we do that the first 3 months and tell them, hey, this is how we found out that you had this issue. So that's the kind of support we give. So we come in as your invisible cost controller for a few months, and we call that support. That's 1. 2, we have round-the-clock customer service. So if you want to chat with us through the mobile app, you're always going to have someone who's going to help you do something, perform a task if you don't know how to perform a task. And that's because we operate in so many time zones. From Australia to the UK, I think we cover all time zones.
Never sleep.
So, exactly. So we always have someone covering support. And yeah, I mean, what differentiates us is this hand-holding with the clients 3 months.
I love that. I love that fact that you're actually, because you're not just acting as support, you're actually actively looking for variances, errors, or opportunities for them.
Correct.
Which I think that's cool, right? Because again, hospitality I think is very empathetic. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel like you've got their back, and I feel that that's a different way of supporting. It's a way of saying, look, again, we back our product. Here's what we can find for you.
Exactly.
And we'll hang around for a bit longer to make sure you understand that as well. I think it's great. Really cool. Look, Danny, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in. If people want to get hold of Supy or you, how do they find you?
So they can just come into our website, supy.io, and you'll see book a demo anywhere in the website. Wherever you scroll,
Everywhere.
it's just going to pop up.
Yeah.
And if you come into our website, you're going to get targeted. Thanks to Curran, on LinkedIn, on emails.
Yeah, if you go near Supy, you're going to meet Curran.
Exactly. Well, yeah, supy.io. Supy.io, and that's it.
And I'm guessing you're going to be around and about all the events in the next few months over the year. Yeah,
We're joining your event on Feb 4th.
Love to see you there. And service on February the 4th. And then I think there's some other ones coming. In March, there's HRC. Do you know that one? The Excel?
I do. Andy was talking to me about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing that one as well. We've got a big tech exchange stage we're doing there. So, but yeah, well, I'm sure we'll bump into you, and we'd love to help you, and we can do anything to kind of get you to meet some new people. We'll do our best.
Amazing. And thanks so much for having me here.
No, you're welcome. Enjoy the Brewdog night. If you're going to meet Tommy Giroux, he's going to buy you a non-alcoholic beer by the look of it. So
I'm going to meet him again, try to convince him to get me all his leads.
That's what he's here for. All right, lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We shall see you all next week.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.